meeting of the Amherst Township Trustees called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abraham?
Here.
Lynch?
Here.
Euring?
Yes.
Kish? All right, I have the September 14th, 2021 regular meeting of the Amherst Township Trustees. Meeting minutes. The meeting was called to order at 7:10 p.m. by Lynch. Pledge to the flag. Roll call. Lynch, Euring, and Kish were present. Abraham was absent. Also in attendance are Cerrone, K. Smarsh, G. Lynch, L. Ashley, and R. Bechter. 9/1/21, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring, to approve the minutes of the August 24th, 2021 regular meeting as corrected. All ayes. 9/2/21, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Motion to approve the bills and financial reports with reservations. All ayes. Trustee Lynch discussed expenditures of the American Rescue Plan Act Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Funds. The first item was the Assistant Prosecutor's positive ruling on the purchase of the backhoe. Superintendent Smarsh has already begun work on ordering the equipment. With the trade-in value of $36,000 for the old backhoe, Kevin's updated cost to us would be $81,025.02. A review of each additional line item took place. Under correspondence, Trustee Euring noted correspondence from the county EMA regarding updating county's hazard mitigation plan. They will be hosting meetings for community input. 3 opportunities will be held at the EMA offices on September 15th, 2021 at from 10 to 11 a.m., 2 to 3 p.m., and 6 to 7 p.m. Trustee Euring will attend one of these meetings. Under reports for ambulance, there was none. Under zoning, 6 permits for the month with 3 new received tonight. The BZA approved the variance at the August 25th, 2021 meeting. Trustee Lynch noted receipt of a letter of resignation from Kirsten Hill from the BZA. Neil noted that Kirsten has been very active on the BZA for the past 15 years. 9/30/21, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Board of Zoning Appeals accept the resignation of Kirsten Hill and promote Steve Ostrolonecki from first alternate to board member as successor to fulfill Ms. Hill's term. All ayes. Under Road, Park, and Cemetery, Road Superintendent Smarsh reported typical work going smooth. Mowing in the parks and a large limb fell and will be taken care of tomorrow. Thursday, Precision will be milling and hoping to pave back on Friday, but it could be Monday. 4 catch basins rebuilt in Hidden Valley. Under Senior Services, Administrator Ashley reported that we did receive the cemetery grant for $1,000, and it will be used for reset and repair of monuments. We have not heard back from the No Pet Green Ribbon Award as of today. 3 applications have been received for the rental property, and we have received about 20 phone calls. Certified Payments is the credit card provider for the unit. For in-house credit card payments, we are collecting information on. Trustee Lynch noted receipt of ODOT stimulus grant program information in the mail. The grant is due in November. We are looking at applying and using this grant to repave Oberlin Road, but there is a lot of information that will need to be coordinated with the county and sanitary engineer, and we potentially could need 3 estimates based on ongoing county project timelines. Under complaints, they are all being handled by the designated individual. Under new business, we received an Otarma cyber underwriting application that was pretty extensive. This brought up training and policy needs that potentially could be implemented here at the township. 9/4/21, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Authorization to sign the Otarma cyber underwriting application, and declares that the statements contained in the information and materials provided to the pool in conjunction with this application and the underwriting of this coverage are true, accurate, and not misleading. All ayes. Trustee Lynch noted that Halloween falls on October 31st, and trick-or-treat is scheduled on Sunday, October 31st from 1 to 3 p.m. This all could change based on COVID numbers, but as of now, we are scheduled for this time. An article will be in the upcoming newsletter. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be September 28th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall. 9/5/21, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring, to adjourn at 8:29 p.m. All ayes.
Are there any changes or corrections to the September 14th meeting minutes? And if not, can I have a motion to approve as read?
I have no corrections. I'll make a motion to approve as read if nobody else has
I'll second.
corrections.
Euring,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Abraham. Also, you have in your packets the credit card transaction report for the month of August. It's also in the file to be signed by all of you. There was, everything's accounted for, receipts. I think there was 4 purchases.
I'll make a motion that the credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed per policy. The card statement is accepted as presented, subject to investigation.
Second.
Lynch,
Yes.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham. Then we have the financials and bills, and you've got the payment listing in front of you. There is the 2 largest sums was the Amherst Fire Department and then the engineer for the chip and seal program. Otherwise, everything else is pretty standard. Couple of payrolls in there.
I know, Chris, I didn't get through this, but the maintenance systems of Northern Ohio,
That was for something, what did you just get, Kevin? The
Crack-
maintenance systems,
crack
that it was
sealer.
the 40 cases, that was crack sealer?
okay.
And then, well, as far as, that's the bills, but our year-to-date expenditures are $688,263.92, with our year-to-date revenue of $1,522,416.43.
Which again looks very healthy because of that ARPA funding,
Yes.
federal funding. Okay, if there are any other questions on the bills or the financial reports, can I have a motion to pay the bills and approve the financial reports with reservation?
So move. Second.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
And that is my,
Okay, anything else, Chris?
nope.
Okay, I just want to bring to everyone's attention here, you should have received an electronic version of this also, but still under the financials, for the American Rescue Plan Act expenditure planning, is you've got the document listing 10 items that were sent to the Lorraine County Prosecutor's Office that we've included in our expenditure planning that we believe is eligible to use these funds, but just to make it easier when we eventually have the financial audit a year from now or so, is that we'd still like to have the prosecutor's opinion. So I haven't received a response to this yet, but when I do receive one, I'll send it out to everyone and then bring it to the next meeting. And again, we're still open for ideas on the use of those funds that meet the eligibility requirements. Also, in regards to the ARPA funds, I've sent out to everyone, there is the next webinar coming up on October 5th, which is a Tuesday from 12 to 1:30. You do have to sign up for that. That's going to be put on by the Ohio State Auditor's Office, and it will cover some of the eligibility, but the main thing is also how they're going to conduct the audits of the various expenditures. And then, though it's not their main program, they've got 3 different items. Lorraine County Community Alliance on Friday, October 8th, which again you have to sign up, and everyone should have received an email directly from Community Alliance Administrator Virginia Haynes, is that the county will have a meeting discussing the eligibility of use of ARPA funds from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. But again, if you should have received that, you'll have to respond individually to those. So that's all I have to say in regards to the financials. Okay, at this point, I'd like to welcome everyone in attendance. If there's anything to bring before the board, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Correspondence, Chris?
I have none.
Okay, David?
I have nothing to bring forward at this time.
Okay, Denny?
Nothing.
Okay, and just so everyone's aware, is we did receive correspondence regards to some legal action on a property, but it appears it was sent to our township in error, and our zoning inspector, Remy Cerrone, will get a hold of Tom Mangan at the prosecutor's office with that specific document, just to verify that. But based on the parcel number there, it doesn't appear it really has any impact on us. We do have some litigation that we believe is resolved that deals with someone of the same name, but we think there's some confusion here. We don't think it's the same individual that owns another property. We just think it's sent to us in error. So you all would have had that in your mailbox. But that's all I've got for correspondence. We'll move on to reports. Ambulance, Denny?
Nothing under ambulance.
Okay. And just the one item, Denny, we discussed before the meeting was where there is the one used for the ARPA funds that the Life Care has asked for, but you'll have to get with the ambulance board on that in terms of the sharing and everyone agreeing with that,
Right.
and that they can use their ARPA funds also for that expenditure, which will definitely be an improvement in the safety for our residents. Okay, Sheriff's not here. Zoning, Remy?
I've got 11 permits for the month. There are no meetings scheduled for this month yet.
Any houses?
No.
Any additions?
Accessory buildings, about 3 or 4 accessory buildings. Got a house coming up, a model home for Hampshire Farm.
Okay,
That's coming up.
thank you.
But did you receive that permit request yet, or they just let you know they'll be coming with one?
Yeah, they've been requesting all the information that they need. They're gonna put together all the paperwork that they need.
Where is that at? Where is it at?
It'll be located at where the old house used to be. I think a little bit off to the side.
Is that on Pile Road?
No, Oberlin Road.
Oberlin Road. Okay.
It has to be Hampshire Farm. So are they tearing down the old house and putting it up, or they're just putting it adjacent to start?
I think they're putting it adjacent to that house, and then they're gonna tear that house down.
Okay.
I think they're using it for storage right now.
Okay. Any questions then for Remy? All right, Fire Prevention Officer Chris Nyhard.
Our guys are out testing hydrants in the township. If you see them out testing and your water is dirty, let your water run a little bit to clear it up. They will be out probably for the next couple of weeks out in the township.
And then Remy, you had mentioned that you saw they're putting the hydrants in at Hampshire Farms. Have they been in contact with Chris?
Right, yeah, they are.
Okay.
Matter of fact, they got a test on them already.
Yeah, we got a site plan and talked to the developer before they started for the spacing and where they're gonna go, size of line. So I believe, does the township have an engineering firm that they work with for the underground or the site work?
Or our engineer is the county engineer.
Okay, so I'm sure he's probably been out there.
Yeah.
Okay,
They've been out there multiple times. I'm not sure what all they're checking, Chris, but I've seen their county truck parked out there, and usually they're parked where this older home is, the old
Right.
Herman home is where they tend to park their truck when they're out there. Okay, roads, parks, and cemeteries, Superintendent Smarsh.
Well, the cemeteries and parks, we are just keeping them mowed and trimmed. The last meeting we did, and it was confirmed that we did receive the grant for work that we can complete in Kendon Corners. But there's a line there that we can't cross like for about another month until we can do the work. There is, as of today, there are 6 catch basins that are completely finished, topsoiled, seeded, strawed. 2 of them now still yet have to be topsoiled and seeded, which then would bring a total for in-house of 8 catch basins. I've talked with Chris from Sandstone, and he was putting me back another week, so he probably won't be until next week to be able to do the ones for the mini grant.
Okay.
I am scheduled with Adkins, Sewer, and VAC tomorrow for the whole day, which would be the ARP funds. Could take care of that because it's all sewer jetting. Other thing that I was thinking about is not the oldest truck, but say the middle truck. We went to dip out some of a ditch, and when I unloaded to it, so much of it came out of the truck, which was running, because it is well shot, and there's, we've patched it and patched it and patched it, and it's well due, and it's been talked about. I have done a little bit. I'm sure the pricing is too old now, but I could get some repricing on that. I think it definitely is always hauling away for stormwater stuff, as we clean out ditches. I would think that could be covered.
You're talking about putting on a new box, or?
New box, yeah.
Okay, so you're comfortable the truck's good, just if you replace the box?
Yeah.
I agree with you, but again, we'd have to take that to the prosecutor. Obviously, the parts you mentioned about the jetting out you've got, and the cleaning of the ditches and the catch basins, as long as we got to make sure, Chris, you've really got to watch this as far as making sure those are paid with the ARPA funds because they're eligible. But I would say get yourself a new quote, and either between Linda or myself, we'll get it to the prosecutor and explain to it, how you're using that vehicle. And, you've been patching all along, but you only patch so much.
Yeah. And that
Especially when it's wet, goopy stuff you're putting in there, too.
Right. That would be the, that would, to trade in a truck, that would not be the next one to go at any rate. I would guess to say we get rid of the oldest one. So that truck potentially still has quite a bit of time left to say, for township life, so.
Yeah, well, if we can just do the box,
Yeah.
we do. But if you can get the information, Kevin, and then we'll run it through them. I don't see this as any issue. And then there's other meetings. Sometimes you're just running into the prosecutor, can call him quickly, that he can give you off the top of his head, but, and then follow up later with written. But I always like sending him a formal request so that he's got it, because they get hit from too many different directions, and, things get dropped then.
I'll get that information. I'll get that to him.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have.
You didn't want to mention Dewey Road's all done?
Well, Dewey Road is all done, except tomorrow they're going to be in to do the railroad crossings. It's all been painted except for that. The berming's done. I've walked it. It's tight, nice tight job. The berming, the painting, it's all golden. Looks good. I did talk with Miss Wolf today, who is the wife of the owner of Wolf Contracting, with the Angle Ditch. That to be coming up, and they have a couple of septic systems that they're trying to finish up here, and they're hoping that this fall doesn't get too wet, and they're going to try to make it here within the next couple of weeks to get that started.
Okay, good. And that's the one, Chris, with our portion there that comes out of the general fund is definitely ARPA eligible.
Just let me know on the invoices, ARPA.
Okay, are there any questions for Kevin?
No, I have none.
Okay, well, we do have, I want to mention also, now this deals with the ODOT stimulus. There is a webinar scheduled for Tuesday, October 12th from noon to 1 o'clock that ODOT will put on regards to this new grant. I know that Kevin and Linda and myself are signed up. If you should have all received the email several times, but you definitely have to sign up for that particular webinar. And Kevin and Linda have been working hard on gathering all the information for this grant. If you recall, originally when this first came out, it came out on a Friday, and we immediately communicated that information out to everyone. The original deadline was October 21st to submit this. It's now been extended to November 19th. But what we're going to do is wait till after this webinar to see, Kevin and Linda will have it ready to go. But if we learn something new from the webinar that might help the success rate of our grant, obviously we'll make the change. The grant application is all online. Only one person can do it at this point in time. I think you guys have agreed Linda will put it in, because what happens is you can save it as you work on it, but every time you save it, whoever's email is attached to it, they will send a new password. So you get a new password each time. And so I told Linda I opened it up just to see what it was, did no saving, just to see what they're actually expecting on this. But I do not want to be mucking with it where all of a sudden a new password's going to somebody or messing up what was previously saved.
This was the webinar, ODOT webinar?
This is ODOT on what they call in the Township Stimulus Program. This is a one-time offer. They are federal funds. There's about $8 million in federal funds that are available to the over 3,800 townships in Ohio. It works out, it's a little over $6,000 per township on average. And it can be used for roads, guardrails, painting, berming, sidewalk replacement, but it's got to be sidewalks owned by the township, not under the responsibility of the property owner. In our case, we're looking at the Oberlin Road from Middle Ridge to North Ridge. And Kevin had presented that. He got quotes from the county engineer's office to go from Middle Ridge to the State Route 2 overpass, and then also from the overpass up to North Ridge. The total estimate, if done as one project with single mobilization, is around $191,000. If it's split up, I think it was somewhere closer to $197,000. And the shorter piece from the Route 2 overpass to North Ridge is around $55,000. Now you think about all those numbers, and with this grant money being available, and there is a point scoring system, and I provided you guys with copies of that before, knowing that the average is a little over $6,000 per Ohio township, you know, what do you apply for that helps you get approved? You know, if we apply for the full amount, $191,000, are they just going to throw ours out? We don't know, and we will find out as we gain more information from the webinar. And also, Jeff Rogers is the local ODOT rep that we are working with on this. And he is, by email only, will take the questions to respond to them, because obviously they get questions from all sorts of people. And he is real responsive on answering the questions. I know all of the questions that I had emailed to him before, they've actually included in a frequently asked questions list so that all the townships that are eligible see the same questions. From what I could see, it's either a lot of townships are asking the same questions or very few are asking questions at this point in time, based on the full list that's there. And you've got copies of some of that email correspondence in this resolution we're going to consider here shortly. But at this point, unless we hear something different from the county engineer's office or from Jeff Rogers from ODOT, we're either going to apply for the whole amount, or we might, since Jeff has indicated that yes, they may just agree to partial award of your request, and his big question is, if you only get a partial, would the project still be a go? Well, if we ask for the full amount in anticipation of hoping to get Ohio Public Works to pay any portion, and then ODOT turns us down, obviously, the answer is no, it's not gonna go forward. But if we do just the short 55,000 portion, well, now if we can get most of that, well, yes, we could just do that portion, but it'd be a slower or a smaller project scope than the whole road. But we're really hoping we can get the whole road. We're hoping they'll approve it. And if that's the case, since these federal funds can be used as our match for the eventual Public Works Commission application, and what we'd be looking at is applying next year in round 37, and then hoping, if we're approved, actually have the construction done in 2023 or 2024. Realize the other situation we're dealing with here is the county's putting in sanitary sewers in the section from K Drive. Right now their plan is from K Drive to the Route 2 overpass. They, at their last county commissioners meeting, they approved an amended contract with Trimore Industries, which is putting in a county sewer in the Hampshire development. The amendment was to run that sewer from Hampshire Farm south to K Drive. In my last communication with Bob Cliver, the county engineer's office, they still hadn't even engineered the sewer to go north. And I'm not sure if that sewer going north, the overpass, makes a whole lot of sense, because there's not that many homes there. And even of the homes that are there, some of them are so far off the road, they wouldn't be required to connect. And the only reason anyone would even consider to connect, it would most likely become a cost decision that, hey, it's cheaper for me to connect versus putting in a new on-lot system, and I don't plan on living there for a long time. Now, if you're living there a long time, in the long term, sometimes, if you've got a large property, and those are large properties, your lower cost might be, in the long term, the on-lot system. So I don't know if they're even going to go forward with that, Kevin, but that installation impacts our timing, and with these being federal stimulus funds, they must be spent by December 31st of 2024. And as we discussed at the last meeting, if we apply for the OPWC funds, use the federal stimulus as a match, with the expectation we're approved, construction would be either 2023 or 2024. And that should give them time to get their sewers in, but they've got to get that project done before the road gets resurfaced, and we've already held up on that. And Kevin did get the numbers. It's been over 20 years, and we know that keeps getting delayed since that road was resurfaced. And you can see how it's getting torn up. He's done work on it before. I know they've had the Dura patch on it, and they've been patching all along, but it's not going to hold up forever. But in any case, they've been doing a lot of work on this to get in place, to be prepared, so we want to be able to turn that grant in early. ODOT recommends you turn it in early, which gives them chance to ask questions or clean it up, because they've also made it clear if there's any question later and there's not time to clear something up, odds are you won't get funded. So we hope to get this done early. But with that, I'm going to make a motion that authorization, prepare and submit an application participate in the Ohio Department of Transportation's Township Stimulus Program for funding of the Overland Road resurfacing from Middle Ridge Road to North Ridge Road project, and to execute contracts as required. And I'm not going to read through all the detail here, but you've got prepared resolution, so that'll be my motion.
I will second.
Okay, and are there any other questions here? Okay, then roll call, Chris.
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
And the number on that, Chris?
99.
And then if you can get a certified copy then to Kevin and Linda. And it's odd, Kevin, though ODOT always asks for resolutions, OPWC always asks for resolutions, I saw it nowhere in their grant application, so I expect that'll probably come later. So we just want to get this done ahead of time, so that doesn't hold you up.
What was that number?
9921.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, are there any other questions for Kevin?
Nope.
Okay, we'll move on. The report on Lorco, I really don't have anything new to add to Lorco, other than obviously you read the papers, you see there's growth, you see there's development going on out there. Right now it's just odd how the economy's changed from when we went through the last recession where everything stopped. Now it just seems like you're constantly bombarded with questions from property owners and developers as to trying to get developments put in that are going to be within the Lorco Phase 1 system. The other thing I think I shared with you before, and this will be coming up before NOACA, is Lorco and the city of Elyria are working on some partnerships that may involve some changes in facility planning areas and swapping between Lorco and Elyria, and also the potential of Elyria, if it turns out it's a lower cost option for them. They're looking at, though it still be in Elyria's facility planning area, sewering a section and connecting to the Lorco system, since that would be a lower cost option for them versus putting in additional pump stations to run it back to the treatment facility in Elyria. But that's all I've got here for the Lorco report.
How many people are in that first phase? Is it still about 1,200?
Well, there were the 1,200 that are all connected, and it might be close to 13 now, David. You know, I don't know,
So
I didn't bring the
it is-
official number.
It is improving. It's been a long
Oh,
time
yeah.
since I've been to a meeting, and I remember that was the big concern. How many users would there be in that first section? And it's slowly creeping up.
Yes, well, and that's where now it looks like it's going to take off, and that's always been the question. Though you lose some, you saw where there was a portion that was in it's still in Lorco Phase 1, so I don't know what's going to happen here. And there was an annexation request from the Village of Grafton, to the Village of Grafton from Eaton Township, all predicated on the utilities and services that Grafton could provide, but there's been no change in the facility planning area. And I know the Village of Grafton is now pushing Lorco to see what they can do on service of that, so I don't know what's going to happen. The commissioners felt their hands were tied and they approved the annexation. I think the trustees of Eaton Township are going to challenge that now in court, and I think somebody may have misled the property owner as far as being able to provide sewer service, because it seems that was a promise made that couldn't really be kept because it wasn't in their area, and Lorco had planned on that area being part of the Phase 1 when the financials were done. So I don't know.
Now, was that a standard annexation?
Yes,
Wasn't it expedited?
it was not expedited. It was a standard annexation, but even so, the main thing they were pushing for was the availability of sewers. And I was not at the annexation meetings, but I don't understand how you can go through that with the expectation you're getting sewers from a community that doesn't have the authority to provide them. So now I think they're going to be pushing on Lorco to work out a deal to sewer it. Now Lorco's would be in a difficult position because Eaton Township is one of their members. And one of the original objectives in the formation was to stop all this annexation, because sewers is the number one thing that always comes up, that they won't offer sewers from any municipality that has them unless the property annexes. Well, this is a situation, Lorco planned for that area, they constructed a sewer line to service that area, and now the county just approved an annexation. So we'll see where it goes. That keeps going in the papers, and right now it's going to be hung up in court, and who knows what the final outcome will be. For all I know, we might see a reverse annexation once they find out that, promises were made that might not be able to be kept. The other thing I just want to mention, we put on here as a requirement, the EPA put all these requirements when we had to comply with the Phase 2 MS4 requirements. And one of the things we said we would do for the public education involvement is always offer the opportunity to discuss the stormwater on the second meeting of the month that the trustees hold. So at this point in time, Chris, I'm not sure we'll be getting into that with the prosecutor's office also. I don't know how much he understands what's going on since they're new. That had all changed over in the last election, but if any portion of this just in that public education involvement can be included, we're hoping they at least include the portion of the newsletter, which we do in our annual report every single year as required. And I know the EPA would prefer we give a minimum of 2 times a year. We meet that, but now there may be, obviously the EPA gave you no funding to do that. So we might be able to use some of the ARPA funding for that, but again, we still need the prosecutor to make a definitive determination on it one way or the other. So if there's no other questions on Lorco or the Phase 2, we'll move on. At this point, I don't think, Remy, you've received any additional complaints?
No.
Okay. And then the only other item, though I don't know if this would be one we would use ARPA funds for only because it might be too costly and at this point in time, the benefited users would be few, is the one complaint we've been holding open, and we had a gentleman come to the township here a few meetings ago. This is where the drainage issue down near Molnar Outdoor, where, it's kind of like a bathtub situation, the way ODOT has 58 constructed, and in previous meetings between the county engineer and ODOT, ODOT wasn't willing to partner up with any funds to correct that. And the only way the county determined, the county engineer, it could be done, well, that would require major reprofiling of the ditch heading to the west and then turning northerly from that section to get rid of that bathtub effect versus raising the road up a little bit, which they think would be the lower cost option. But obviously, we had explained to this individual that, well, some funds may be available in concert with the stormwater district, but we had asked him, write up a narrative, specifically what the issue is, what you think will resolve it, what type of problems you've had, provide photos, and as of this point, nothing's come back to us. So again, I don't know if he's what's happened here. He had come for help, but we said, well, help us and provide details, and haven't seen that yet. Okay, with that, the other items are open items on the agenda with specific responsibility assigned. If for all of these items, is there anything that anyone has to bring before the board on an update?
I have nothing.
I have nothing either.
Okay.
It's rather quiet.
Okay. Now, just let you know, I don't know if our local Natural Resource Advisory Council has met yet in regards to the approval of the various Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation grants, but keep in mind we still have open where for the quarry property that the Thompsons own between on Overland Road, and that's surrounded by the Hidden Valley development and the Amherst development. That's still an option. I just don't know if they've even met yet. I thought they were meeting in September, but I'm going to have to double check that and see where that goes. I'll either have conversations with Grant Thompson on this or Jim Zemanek from the Lorraine County Metro Parks, because the hope was Lorraine County Metro Parks would take that, but it's all predicated on receiving funding from the Clean Ohio funds. Okay, and under new business, I thinking, I see it is here, Georgianne completed the newsletter and did get it off to the printers, but she's just got the paper copy here to be signed off on by the trustees. With that, is there any other new business? Yes,
No, sir.
Remy?
I wanted to mention that Sandstone Excavating has moved from, he was at the church on 113, behind that church is where he was located, and I told him that that is not commercial. So he is now locating over on Middle Ridge Road, where the beekeeper guy is at.
Okay, I
that's-
saw all that equipment
Yeah,
moved
so
in there.
that's him. So he'll be locating there, because that's light industrial.
Okay, I thought that was a beekeeper putting equipment in
No,
to
that's
make it
Sandstone.
beautiful. Okay. All right, thanks, Remy.
You might want to mention the NOPEC 2021 Green Ribbon Award.
I'm sorry, the Green Ribbon Award. Yeah, Linda sent that email, Chris, and I didn't digest the details.
I have the Amherst Township has been chosen as a winner of NOPEC's 2021 Green Ribbon Award.
I was hoping it was positive.
As a Green Ribbon Award recipient, Amherst Township will receive $2,500 to put toward energy efficiency initiatives, as well as a plaque to commemorate our achievements.
Good deal. Thank you very much, and Linda's not here, but
I gave her big kudos
good.
in the meeting minutes.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Okay, if there's no other new business, our next regularly scheduled meeting will be on Tuesday, October 12th, 7 o'clock p.m. We won't call because I know with everything going on for a meeting yet, but we're going to have to be scheduling a morning meeting if the engineer's available to start discussing the Batten House ditch now. We've got to be prepared for that. That grant application will come up quick, and that's going to require a lot of contact with a lot of different property owners.
Tuesday, October the 12th.
It's our next
Yes,
meeting.
Tuesday, October 12th, 7 o'clock p.m. I'm sure there's no audience concerns. Any need for an executive session? Okay, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Abraham,
Yes.
Euring,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.